it just moved. Ah, thank goodness. Well, I've had one paraglider before now in the Woodford Valley, but not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, 11 paragliders. Those powered parachutes. Incredible. What a nuisance in the Woodford Valley. Quite put me off my train of thought. Anyway, yeah, what are we doing now? Okay, yeah, no, back to photography channel, wildlife. And I thought tonight raise an interesting question. When do you go extra long? When do you go maximum reach? And well, I've just reached my limit tonight. 600mm with the 2x converter, 1200mm with the Sony A1. Now this takes me to f8, so I've gone maxed out. And the reason I went maxed out was because I saw a red kite in the distance in a ploughed field disturb what I thought was probably a lapwing, because there's a couple of lapwings that do display flights in this area, but it wasn't. It was a stone curlew. And anyway, so this is when something as rare as a stone curlew, it's worth putting on the 2x converter. So I thought I'll do a quick explanation of how we use the 2x converter, and then I'll show why we don't bother with the 2x converter, and I'll also show another system which is a bit cheaper than this, because I can appreciate not everybody's got the Sony A1 600mm and a 2x converter, so I'll go for a slightly cheaper option. Okay, cut, and I'll show you the slightly cheaper option. So a cheaper option, which you have any of the Sony full frame bodies on, from the A7II up. This one we've got the A9II on here, but we could have the A7II on. And we've got the 200 to 600mm, and we put the 1.4 teleconverter on this combination. So that takes us to a very usable 840mm f9. And this is as far as I'd push it with this particular lens. I would save you money. I wouldn't bother going for the 2x teleconverter with this lens, because it would take it to an f11, which is, well, it's stretching a bit. I know Canon do an f11, and yeah, it's probably pretty sharp in the center. I think you really are pushing it for the amount of light you can get in on the subject. I mean, it's starting to get light, starting to fade now, and I certainly wouldn't use this system in this light. So how do we go about using the extra long reach that we've now got? Surely all wildlife photography should be done at these lengths. You just max on your maximum reach, stand back at a great distance from your subject, and film away to your heart's content. Well, yeah, watch on, because it's not that simple. So this is quite an exciting spot for us here on Camilla I, because this is the first time I've seen a stone curlew on the ground in this area. I've seen one flying overhead before, but I haven't seen one on the ground, and I wasn't aware that they were actually in this field until this year. So just shows how stealthy they are, and how difficult they are to spot. Hence we're going extra long. So to go extra long with this combination, 1200mm, and we've got a tremendous objective reach, but we've got a very narrow field of view now. I think we've gone from 16 degrees, I believe, 600mm to 8mm angle of view, and this is a very, very small angle of view. And at this reach level, any movement throughout the lens is transferred immediately to motion in the distance. Just seeing a couple of rabbits in the distance, a couple of hares in the distance. Now any movement, even when I press record, we're getting tiny little movements even when I press record. So it's absolutely crucial to keep the lens as still as possible is the first thing. You must mount it on a sturdy tripod, and on this case we're on a sturdy pair of Series 3 legs, the VH10 fluid video head, and it's for this reason. We want to keep absolutely motionless as possible, and indeed even for releasing the camera. As you see there, just as I was releasing the camera, there's movement when you actually touch the camera itself, so it's a good idea to have a remote control at this distance. So we set this, take the lock off and set it to still mode, and then this is already pre-programmed for the camera, and we can look through the camera not touching it at all. We can autofocus in using the AF button, even keep my nose off it, and then just press release when we've acquired the subject. And yeah, this is a very good way of operating and not getting any movement into the camera. Then we have, normally tonight we've chosen a particularly good night where we've had rain earlier last night and it's cleared today, and there's not too much haze around now, so it's started to dehaze. When I photographed the stone curlew a bit earlier, there was still quite a bit of haze, and you'll see this in the final photo when I eventually show you it, because it's rubbish. And this is the sort of problem you have. I didn't have out my thing immediately to hand, I didn't quite get it. Now it's only because a bunny or a hare showed up near to where the stone curlew was nesting that I actually saw where the stone curlew was. If it wasn't for me focusing in on this hare, I wouldn't have seen this stone curlew at all. So camouflaged, facing away from the camera. Amazing. So yeah, incredible what you can get at 1200mm. Oh, they're terrible, these stone curlews. They just stand there like rigid, absolutely rigid. If they don't move, you ain't got a hope of spotting them. Incredible. So this is when we turn to 1200mm in extreme circumstances such as this. We are miles from the subject. I mean, I am probably a kilometre away from this stone curlew. Obviously I could do a sing and dance routine, I could do whatever I like here, so that's the advantage, but it's the image quality. We can't really get a usable image. I mean, it's usable for video, just about. Oh no, we've got a deer in the background now as well. Oh, incredible. Got a young roe buck, I think, in the distance. Can't tell, the deer's out of focus. I don't lose focus on the stone curlew. So yeah, amazing. Still looking the wrong way, the stone curlew. Yeah, we've got some movement in the stone curlew. So just did a bit of preening. So just taking short little bursts where the hares or bunny rabbits move, but the stone curlew just stays static. Absolutely incredible. Bunny's off. Lapwing went round, did a lap. No movement from the stone curlew. Incredible. So going long, yeah, it's a pain, to be honest, to go long. The field of view is so narrow, it's difficult to focus in on. The any movement through the lens is amplified a million times. you have to use, ideally you use a release, which again is tricky. It all adds extra involvement. We've got a buzzard now, has joined the extra reach. Incredible. Oh. Lapwing seeing me as a threat, I think. Don't think so. Oh well. Yeah. Oh, incredible. Anyway, it's all kicking off on Camilla I tonight. So yeah, we never do 1200mm for the main reason it's too much distance between you and the subject. You get a whole load of refraction. If you haven't got the right climatic conditions, rain, forget it. You won't see very far. Mist, you won't see very far. Any tiny particles between you and the subject. This is why you can't see great long distances with normal eyesight. You can't really see more than about 3 miles because, well, you can, but it's your view starts to fall off. The clarity of what you're seeing really falls off. So with the naked eye, I suppose I could just about make out the curlew at the distance with a red kite in its area disturbing it, so I could just about make it out as I knew they were in the area. But without that sort of foreknowledge, you haven't got a hope, absolute hope in hell of getting anything decent with a 1200mm image. So yeah, Lapwing's doing multi-circles now. What's it doing? God, Lapwing's gone mental. I'm on 1200mm. This is not easy, folks. I'm on 1500 for a second. That's no good. Oh, incredible. Lapwing gone mental. Amazing. I've done a quick video comparison of a Yellowhammer down here on the left, a bit closer, and I've taken it with this combination, and I've taken it with the 600mm and 2x converter to show the difference in quality. Yeah, one's at 840mm and the other's at 1200mm, and the Sony A1 with the 600 2x is at f8. So yeah, both wide open as you can with these teleconverter combination, and certainly I wouldn't buy a 2x converter for the 200 to 600 personally. Oh, just seen the white throat go up on the branch in the distance. God, it's going to be a long video, this one. Oh yeah, that was the white throat. Gone down again now, but yeah, I didn't manage to get a snap. But yeah, white throat's up as well now. Yeah, so yeah, the upshot is you bang for your buck for reach. The 200 to 600 with 1.4 teleconverter will probably set you back around about the £2,000 mark, and yeah, obviously it's a damn sight cheaper than the 600mm and the £450 teleconverter on that one. But sometimes you need reach, and indeed the other day I needed reach. This is the first time I managed to get a stone curlew in the Woodford Valley in this spot on the ground. So yeah, a first. But that wasn't the inspiration for this video, although I knew they were in the area because someone had spotted a couple of weeks ago. But the other night I came and there was my first short-eared owl in this valley. Never seen one here before, and yeah, anyway, it was right over the far side of the valley along that tree line in the distance, and yeah, needless to say, we had to go long, and that was all shot at 1200mm with the 2x converter on. And yeah, I think anyway, it shows the limitations, and some shots you can get in good light with a 2x converter, but nothing usable from a professional point of view. And that's why we don't tend to use teleconverters on Camilla and I, or indeed you won't find many professionals start with a teleconverter on, because they do degrade the quality, they reduce the light input to the sensor, they reduce the autofocus capability, they affect the depth of field, anyway, you name it on a teleconverter. Anything else I've missed, put it in the comments below please. But yeah, teleconverters have a use, but it is a very limited use on Camilla and I. So we do use them, but we use them very sparingly, and that's how I would suggest you use them. Don't go to them as a first resort. They are a last resort. And yeah, and even at a last resort, it's only really record shots we're getting, because we're fussing on Camilla and I. May be perfectly great to you, but yeah, we want something a little bit better than that. Well, of that stone curlew, for example. Anyway, perfectionist all the way here on Camilla. Thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye from Camilla II and I.